Welcome to a Thursday night at 9:30 on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I go by the name of Cortez, and it should go without saying that this is not Chip Chat. So, for the 10 people who tuned in to hear Chip Chat, sorry. What we do have tonight is a deviation from the normal proceedings. With me is my longtime brother, my brother, Big Ye. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And this might never happen again, but it's happening tonight. So this is what we got. Here we go. I guess I feel like intros is probably important because, people tune in to probably see Chip and, he's not here. So that's cool. But we're going to go, I guess whatever you want to, again, put out there and, I don't know, our friendship or anything, or how this even might happen of us being.
Okay. So Big Ye, on Ye, name just keep getting shorter and different things my whole life.
Right.
But you and I, second grade.
Right, exactly. We go back a long time.
Second grade, so it's easy to talk to you.
Right, yes.
It's easy to have conversation with you.
Yeah.
And so, and beyond that, the middle school and the high school still brotherhood.
Exactly.
Music, studio, mics, cadence, chemistry. So it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, and
it was only a matter of time. And
we talk about this a lot, like for us. And as most folks know, when Chip is out, Brian knows it's a day off. Hey, I don't know, not a day off for you because you got a lot of work to do, but a day off for me.
For you.
As most folks know, and as you'll see tonight, actually there was a little decent preparation. You heard it was a new song. It was not even a new song, a new intro track, a new something. So a little bit, this will throw folks off. But yeah, we go back a long time. We talk about doing this before everybody was doing podcasts. We always talked about it, and then it feels like everybody was doing a podcast. And
now it's like,
but this isn't a podcast. This is live radio.
Which I did in college.
That is true, yes.
I had the radio show.
Yeah.
Late nights, we weren't as prepared, similar to
what this outfit
how you
is.
Like to go. So we played a lot of music. We played a lot of music back in those times.
So sorry to everyone. Usually what would happen is we would come on here and we'd probably talk Trump indictment. We were but that happened obviously, so that's there. But that's not what we're gonna talk about today.
Your house stinks. Oh.
Exactly. So if you tuned in for that, I can understand. Man, we're gonna chop it up about, I feel like, things that conversations we might have if we were just chilling. Yeah. So it's gonna be very conversational tone and show tonight. And my promise also to Brian is that we're gonna get out of here on time.
Are we?
All right, we don't.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Okay.
Because we like to. I always like to let folks know what's happening. I can't even get into the show sheet on my computer, which usually I go into back. But it's okay though, because you
need my computer.
That would be kind of crazy, to shoot your computer over here on there. But
because of my array of.
Yeah, but even then, luckily there's multiple technology devices that are here on this show, and we'll be okay with that.
Make it work.
Just to check in, give folks I guess a preview of next week. I think Substantial is coming on next week. Correct?
I guess.
Maybe we could be wrong on that one. I don't know.
Substantial.
Yes, and I hope I'll be we've had them on before. So. We like to kind of keep it chill and easy on this show. There is one thing that we do on this show, and we're gonna try. I'm gonna try to do it here as well. So Chip usually when we exit out of this, it was the weirdest thing when we did this for the first time. But we exit out of the intro segment where we just take these random words, right? So. Just to give you an example, It'd be it's an example, he'll usually be sit back, and then I'll be like, or he'll be like, sit back, grab some, and then I'll be like, blank word, and then he'll be like, it's blank time, and then yada, 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 and that's what we'll go ahead and we'll do. So just keep that in the head, like just a blank word, like just a random word you want to, but that would be the cadence for it. Yeah, and I guess also choose to be, to keep this on track how we usually do, what we want to talk a little bit on the show today is like, we're going to talk a little bit about like, guns. Yeah. We're going to talk about a little bit about guns. Yes. We're going to talk about some guns and just, if folks didn't see, there was obviously the case in Newport News with the 6-year-old, and there was a plea on that. So we're going to talk about that in hopefully a variety of interesting ways that you find interesting. And then, we're going to kind of like, hopefully from there we can kind of keep it fun and open.
Just, keep it flowing.
And just keep it flowing.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
So now we're going to try this word.
Okay.
We're going to try this word. So, like, again, it's just going to be like, I'm going to be like, so sit back, grab some.
Snatch.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So did you already, all right. You was already going for it. I was doing another test run of it, but you got more work. Exactly.
Come on, man.
Hey.
Come on, man.
All right, you got more words for it. All right, so this is going to be the for real one here, and then we'll go into a short break. Actually, I think we extended the breaks tonight. We was like, we're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy the breaks. But, yeah, we're going to a short break after this. So, all right, this is for real now. We on. We go. We're live on this one, all right. So, live on this one.
You're trying to hype yourself up?
Right, exactly, yeah. I'm not usually... I don't look. All right.
You need some hot slam.
Right, exactly.
That is coming. Okay, I'm gonna repeat it.
Let's just talk about usually how this show happens. Usually, Chip does a lot of preparation for this show.
Okay.
Usually, I stroll in here a little bit later than I did tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit, which is probably putting me on a minute before the show happens. And we just do the show, and I kind of go. So, like, today, I'm in the driver's seat, and there was some preparation. But, again, It wasn't full-on preparation that, like, Chip does a great job on that. And, like, kudos to him. And if I had more time and I wasn't in Las Vegas rolling a lot of dice, I would have done the same. And that doesn't explain the last 365-plus days, 52 weeks out of the last 2 years I've been on the show that I haven't did enough preparation, but we're gonna see how that goes. So now that I've hyped myself up, Brian. Hyped myself back up. Here we go. We're gonna try this. So, all right. So sit back, grab some snacks. It's blackout time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, a show on Beltway Radio and beyond. Sweeps.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
This disc is only intended for use in a Sega Saturn game console. There is game data on track 1, so please don't attempt to play back this disc. Thank you for your purchase of Full Metal Kaiju.
Can't escape from crossing fate.
We're gonna start it off a little something like this.
Hold the phone, the hype ain't overblown. Locals only, I'm back to going rogue alone. Poke Mahone, Poe Golden vocal tone. Dig these, please, big cheese, provolone. Broken bones of foes buried in the graveyard. Impotent rappers better implement safeguards. Are riding in race cars. Call me the wise fool. Beat freaking. I peaked when I was in high school. Yeah, cards felt this junkie gets funky like a fart smell. Hard sell. Today's rappers are heartfelt. Mike Source, Strike Force, Rick Martel. Yo, 50-pound barbells fly. Retiree MC to a high degree. By decree of the president's schizoid. Regiments deployed. Hotter than the summer sun. #1 B-boy.
Ready on the right.
Yo.
Ready on the left.
Yeah.
Ready on the firing line.
Fatality, sick like a malady. Shrugs, no drugs, and raw dog in reality. Fallacy, hip-hop's a young man's game. Instead of smoking that crack, should've drunk champagne. That's a dumb campaign, a dumb hill to die on. Boy, stand still, you can't kill an icon. Like a python, not some phony alpha technician. The definition, Tony Alva. Oh yeah. Maniacal, roughneck, unrecognizable. Sizable chunks, punk rock and dump trucks. Dumb f***s better run and coming with nunchucks. Somewhat fresh, yes, living in a camper van. Rapper man, Lord knows, wardrobe, dapper damn. Thinking of a master plan of attack mode. Crap Load a rap bad back to the back roads.
Out of control.
Triple threat, let's make a little bet. Said it was done, didn't make it official yet. Grizzled vet with shovels and shoehorns, born outlaw, kicking open the saloon doors. Few more things to say and some new goals. Exams, 8 diagrams, bamboo poles. Not looking for shortcuts or loopholes. Like career outburst, I'm Albert Pujols. Cereal and soup bowls, working on material. By any metric, I'm the imperial. Cold magisterial, imperious, pompous. Unchecked, lone suspect, no accomplice. Kid shows promise, quick draw McGraw goes on and on and on and on. Freeze, sucker MCs are like sheep, a thick wolf. Done, executive producer Dick Wolf.
This is it, right here.
No more heroes. All of the niggas I love to turn into hoes. Got hoes on hoes. Got a minute, bitch, she was mad when she went to my phone. Okay, I know. I put for a hot tech, it got me moving slow. Got rolls on rolls. Got a little bitch on my dick because I'm in my glow. Okay, I know. When I pick for the green, so I'm striking a pose. Okay, I know. I got a bitch from the hills, I put coke in her nose. Okay, I know. I'm the X-Men, Connie Blues, I'm Mystique. Got a bitch for every day of the week. Tell her bon appetit. She got an ass on her, but she petite. I got them racks on me, I feel complete. I fuck on ones and I have to delete. He don't want smoke, pussy just wanna tweet. We in a party, we like 20 deep. Pussy got something with like 20 feet. Knock his ass out every step on my sneak.
Welcome back. You are tuned into a show on Beltway Radio and beyond. I gotta try to explain because again, we talked about me not doing any preparation for this show a lot of the times. And not a lot changed this evening around this. But, you know, again, as we keep saying, there was some preparation. What I have to distance myself and you from right here is the music choice, okay? Who was that? Actually, yeah, who did we just give? Who? I have no clue who that was.
I don't know.
And I just want to know. I mean, I'm gonna have to segue into some tough shit after this. But
okay,
who was that?
Is by the song is called "No More Heroes" by High C.
Wait, like the drink?
Yeah, like the drink.
like orange fruit punch.
Yes. So okay, I'll back it up because I played 3 songs. So the first track was very brief. It was Full Metal Kaiju by Kill Bill the rapper.
Okay.
Then the second really cool song was by Buck 65 Super Dope. And then then High C with his No More Heroes.
Okay.
All right, so No More Heroes. I mean, like, you know, I could kind of maybe, you know.
You can swim. You can swim with that.
Yeah, No More Heroes. Like, well, you know, shout out to High C.
Be upstream.
Shout out to High C. All right, I'm going to we'll transition into, like, something, I guess, I mean, more of a heavy topic. But one reason why I was excited to have a conversation with you and, like, go ahead and do the show with you is because I think we both enjoy, like, different things out of the realm. Like, on this show, folks, you know, for me, like, I like to go play a lot of golf. Like, that's kind of like,
that's what you like.
I like to, you know, I read a lot of books and things, and, like, things that are, like, outside of just in general what most folks tend to do. Yeah. And there, I mean, there's obviously, I'm not saying that nobody plays golf or reads books. People do that, but, you know.
Right.
But, like, sometimes throwing folks off are like, oh, and they be like, oh, you into that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one thing that I know that you understand and, like, have a grasp on is firearms.
I do.
And we have a lot of discussions around this all the time.
We do.
So I thought, like, as the story broke a couple days ago, most folks have heard that there was a shooting, and the individual who's involved in the shooting was a 6-year-old boy. He ended up shooting his teacher in Virginia. I believe it's Rich Neck Elementary School. And the mother in the Miss Taylor here, Deja Taylor, the mother of the boy, she was in federal court. And there were like charges that were obviously brought against her for obviously access, which we talk a lot about on this show, is like access to firearms and who has like the access to it.
Absolutely.
Right. But yeah, like the 6-year-old having access to the firearm, and as I read through the story and as I understood it from like hearing it in the past, like on NPR and shit like that, that her claim was the actual gun was locked up, and you know there couldn't have been like, there was like, I guess in the bedroom, like there was a mechanism, like a lock of some sort, and that was kind of her argument. But in this case, she ended up making a plea.
Foolish.
That wasn't the case. And I guess there's like a few areas of the story, and there's also other charges, like because the teacher who was shot is also, I think, filing charges against the school district.
Yep.
So like there's a litany of different charges that are going on in this case, as you would expect when a 6-year-old ends up bringing a gun to school and shooting the teacher. But yeah, I feel like there's a variety of different avenues to go down this. But I guess, what is your viewpoint, or like just not obviously we know your viewpoint like on the story, like we don't want 6-year-olds to shoot people, but obviously like on like a more like on I guess on a 30,000 foot level, like
okay,
how do you this story? Yeah,
let's get far away from the situation and look at it from the perspective of gun ownership in this country is seen as a right instead of a privilege.
Okay.
And when you can differentiate the two, you're a better firearm owner. You're just better at it because you don't see it as something I'm supposed to be able to have. You see it as something, as a treat, something that you should take pride in owning, something that you should, if you people think of a safe as somewhere where you put valuables. But that's why I say it's a treat. It's precious. It should go in a safe. Okay. And not in the ways of this woman's mechanism on the top shelf with a trigger lock of some sort, which means there's a key. If there's a key, curious children find everything. Curious children find everything. You think you good at hiding something? Man, let that 6-year-old on the loose. You see what he did? He got to a firearm.
Yeah.
And so when you take away the right out of the situation and you sprinkle on top privilege and you tell people this is a privilege, there are mandates that come with owning this. It's a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous thing.
It's a very dangerous
and you teach children not to touch the stove before they can speak. If you are going to own a firearm, the child should understand it's dangerous until you can teach them otherwise, in my opinion. And so, from a high level, it was irresponsible. It was negligent at an all-time high. And it's really sad because she feels guilty.
Of course, yeah.
She feels guilty. And that's why she went in there and said guilty and took a plea.
Yeah.
Or filed for a plea.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand feeling guilty and going in, because I think we can all collectively agree that no one wants 6-year-olds to have firearms to take to school. And like from early on in the story, like before her like taking this plea, one of the earlier aspects a lot of folks took grasp on was that like, yo, there were warning signs before.
There were warning signs.
Like the little kid was telling folks like, yo, I'm
packing.
If you
Simply
do this,
put,
yeah,
I'm packing today, y'all. Huh?
6, yeah.
6? We packing? And the teacher recognized, Oh, he's in a bad mood today. Oh, I heard from another student he might have. So no one snatched the little boy's book bag. He's 6. I mean, I'm just saying he's 6.
Exactly.
Snatching your book bag and I'm seeing what's inside. You don't have a locker at this point.
With cubby.
You have a cubby and a book bag.
Yeah, it's a cubby.
I can go check that. That's no big deal. So there's negligence all around the situation from the parents, the school district, the principals. I mean, it's a sad situation because everything about accidental shootings, well, in this case, purposeful by the 6-year-old, but accidental negligence from the mom.
Because
I have a question.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Brian, come on into the chat.
I was hearing this and I'm thinking, wait a minute. Okay, so the mom had it locked up. Supposedly.
Allegedly.
What kind of gun is this?
It's a 9mm Taurus.
Okay,
It's probably,
so why was there a clip inside?
You see,
that I don't get.
Beautiful. That is a really beautiful question.
I mean, it's just like, because my thinking would be, it's like, okay, does the 6-year-old know how to
chamber around?
Yeah,
even
put it
if
in.
The magazine was inside. To your point, 6-year-olds.
It's got to be. It's got to be ready to go, right?
So it's ready to go, and it's a semi-automatic, meaning every round you shoot, another one is loaded based on the combustion of the weapon. And so if there's not one in the chamber, depending on the pool, how many pounds you got to pull back, the serrations on it, how much grip you can get, 6-year-olds not doing that.
Yeah.
Not doing that. So that's another level of negligence to where it was loaded. It was loaded. So all he had to do was point and shoot. All he had to do was get his hands on it, and then that little 6-year-old dangerous.
And I think another area that how this also could have went is what we usually see in this country. That little 6-year-old could be gone.
Could be gone playing with it.
Playing with it. If it's if from based on that explanation there, if you're saying like it's loaded, we know that if it wasn't, he wouldn't hot. Yeah, there you go, right there. He could have easily offed himself.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't know. I feel like as I think about the issue of guns in this, and like not even the gun, because then you say the gun itself, but more so like gun violence. When gun violence is,
but gun violence,
starts
with negligence.
Yeah,
it in most cases it starts with negligence.
Yeah,
because my firearms are safe. They are safe. There's no way, and I have children. 2-year-old, 4-year-old, very curious. Very curious little beings they are.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of questions, especially the 4-year-old, getting into her question phase. Why and who and what, when, where.
Yeah.
And there's no way. There's just no way they're going to be able to get their hands on it. And then, you know, other pro-gun people or experts or whatever they want to call themselves might say, oh, well, if you got them locked up like that when you need them, how you going to get to them?
Okay. So all right. So for folks who have that question, what is the response? Like, what is like, what like? I pose that. Hey, I'm at a bar. You were having this conversation. I respond to you and ask you like, yeah, what if they're locked up? How do I get to them when I need them?
If you're that paranoid, and you then put it on you, you put it on your hip, and you walk around your house with a weapon on your hip. Not under the pillow over here, not under the couch loaded, shotgun in the corner. Oh, you never know. Well, I do know. And outside of me knowing where the threat might come from or how the threat might enter my home, you can have it on your hip. And then when you go to bed, you lock it up tight. And you're going to have a second or two to chamber around. Someone has to get through a door. They have to get through a window. You will be able to chamber around. So you don't even need to leave the gun with the round in the chamber. But some might disagree with that. Once again, you got to be ready. I don't know who those people are hiding from. I don't know who they hiding from. I don't know what they do for a living. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I don't know what they do. Because based on what I do, man, this is a sport.
It would be as if I had my golf club like on me, just on me at the
just twirling the driver, just like I wish a motherfucker would. No, man. I mean, it's sport. It's sport. And the thing that kills me the most is in some of these states, you can get your hands on it the same day. You walk in, you walk out. And now you have a firearm. You have no training. You have no safe. You got a firearm and a box of bullets.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
And no license.
And no license. You don't need to carry. Just have a driver's license. That's your carry license in our state. You know, and that's where the state of Maryland, they make it tough, but they don't make it impossible. And that's what I say. They make it tough. They don't make it impossible. For people who think it's a right, they're not infringing.
And that's it. That wording and that phrasing is very key. You say they make it tough, but they don't make it.
It's not impossible.
And
they're not stepping on your two-way.
Right. So they're not infringing upon the right, the way we interpret this godforsaken law.
Loose.
Because what was we saying? Like, we were saying earlier, even before we came on around the law, is just that, like, there was no imagination for the folks that's like crafting this.
No, because they would have put some detail in that thing. If they just said, go ahead, ban some arms, man. Form a militia.
Right.
Check. Next. We doing 3A now? Okay.
All right.
Like, bro, come on, man. Like, and the thing is, they had no imagination for how creative we would become as humans.
Yeah.
They didn't think there would be advancements in the cartridge in the way that it has advanced. To where before, okay, you need your primer on top, you need your spark, you got to load it up with the powder. And man, now all of that is in one simple round.
Sheesh. Yeah.
And so they didn't think about the cartridge. Then they didn't think about magazines, that you could have multiple rounds.
And reload.
You don't reload.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah.
You don't reload. You load once and it's automatic reload.
Yeah.
They didn't think about that. So now when you have states or HEF saying magazine laws, Maryland, 10-round magazine out of a shop. But they're saying, hey, if you want to go to Virginia and buy 30 rounds and bring it back in, that's fine. But you're not going to buy 30 rounds in our state. So there's just levels. And see, certain things like that, okay, so now if Virginia said, we're going to do 10 rounds, and then Pennsylvania, Delaware said, we're going to do 10 rounds. Then West Virginia, said, we're going to do 10 rounds. West Virginia, boy, that's, come on now. So if the surrounding states all agreed, yeah, we're going to put a cap on these magazines, how do I get it? I don't. But I can go to Virginia, because Virginia says, like West Virginia, And that's what got this lady in trouble, because of the fact that it is a privilege in that alcohol.
Yes.
Marijuana.
This is a good point here, because
are you an abuser of substances?
Because specifically on
a user and an abuser.
Because to get to that point, and to even let you expound past that, the reason why she took the plea is because she did attest to not using marijuana, to like not using alcohol.
That's the paperwork.
Yeah, that's part. And yeah, right. That's part of the paperwork. And that was found not to be or was going to be found in a sense not to be true.
Yeah.
Which again, but. Taking that plea is a whole different story. I think that a couple areas that I saw this story, and I'm feeling a little empathy for like her in this situation, which I know people are gonna always say I'm the one always trying to find other parts of this. I know
you do,
but I'm just like, one, for her to take the plea. I think in any league, and most folks who would like, I'm not a lawyer, but. And most folks who are in like any legal trouble is like, yo, you got to have folks prove that this happened.
Absolutely.
And I think by just taking the plea, and a lot of the time, specifically in our community, like folks are pushed to plea. And like in this case, I mean, yes, like your kid shot your 6-year-old went in and shot the teacher, and the teacher like still got other kids out before she collapsed. Like this story was crazy.
Yeah.
This story was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. But like still to take that plea is tough. For like to know, and I don't remember on what the outcome, which I would assume is probably going to be similar to this, but I guess it was in Michigan with the boy who brought it to school. I I'm blanking on the exact story of that, but it was a boy. It was in Michigan, and like it's one of the similar cases where the parents didn't lock it up, and like there was.
Oh yes.
I forgot the exact story. I should have preparation on the show is
But it wasn't. He wasn't 6.
He wasn't a 6-year-old, right? He wasn't a 6-year-old.
He was old enough to know what he was doing.
Exactly. So
that's the line there.
Yeah.
Of demarcation, especially when you have older children, and see for me, my wife balances me out. She's not like a rah-rah.
Okay.
Rah-rah, guns, 2A. So therefore, my kids aren't going to get baptized in firearms. Right. They will understand them. They will know how to use them. But going to the range and making them snipers and sharp, man, no, we don't.
You're not going to have a Christmas card?
Nah, we not doing no Christmas cards with ARs and all that. No, man. No.
Another part I kind of felt is like somewhere in this story, like here it is here, because the teacher, I think it's I want to say it's Abby Zwerner is the teacher, but she's filed a lawsuit that she went ahead and told again the assistant principal. Ebony Parker, that the boy threatened to beat up a kindergartner and was in a violent mood in the hours before the shooting.
Violent mood.
I mean, and that's where I kind of want to hone in is that, and again, folks can be like, yo, why are you out here putting on your cape for this little boy that shot the teacher? But I'm like, it's a 6-year-old where he gets to a point where he's in a violent mood at school. What is wrong? What's going on in his life that, like, I'm
ADHD apparently. He has ADHD. You know, I
had
ADHD.
Kids. A lot of kids.
You know, but I wasn't going to the school with a kitchen knife and mad at people.
Exactly.
And so ADHD. Okay, you can't focus. Does that mean you're violent? So for them to pull that out as any kind of reasoning or rationale for the boy's attitude is BS.
That's
BS.
Some kids be upset. Y'all done seen some upset kids. I've never seen one that was. I never seen a 6-year-old that I could look and be like, oh, he's in a violent mood.
There you go.
I ain't never seen that.
There you go.
But obviously, if they saw that and they was ringing the alarm, like, because usually in my experience with teachers, like they really love these kids. They love these classrooms. For them to like break away and go to the principal and be like, hey, yo,
you gotta watch out. Gotta watch out.
He's in a violent mood.
Stop it.
He's in a violent mood today.
I can only imagine the response.
Yeah, because kind of
stop
a
it.
little bit.
He's 6.
A little bit.
You know, and it's like, oh, he's 6, but and that's the simplicity of a firearm, though. That is the simplicity of it. That, like we said, our forefathers didn't think about that it would get this advanced and this simple.
That is sick. Because back then they'd be like,
boy,
what,
how many
you got, man?
You got to carry
how many 6-year-olds is doing
sack.
that? How would they even have like the actual like the facilities or even have the actual like the utilities to even be able to do this? And it's just an overall bad situation. Because again, this goes back to the larger issue I think I have is that in this country, at one point, I thought one of the safest places I could enter every day was my school.
Man,
I personally thought that. There was never a time. I mean, we went to school. We went to school together, like damn near K through 12.
You don't think about that.
I've never thought there was never a time, even after Columbine, which happened while we were still in school,
in public school.
But it kind of felt like, oh God, that was wild. Like
that was a one-off.
What?
That was crazy. Some angry kids. Then the whole documentary was made, and
I never.
But then, took off. It took off. Did it take off, or did we start paying attention more?
I think it took off to a point where we paid a lot of attention to it, and these stories were always, when they popped up, were like they became something that was huge. Everybody was focused. CNN,
because
whatever.
It's the children.
Yeah, it was on. Children. But now I feel like we just kind of move on a little bit and wait for the next one. Like now it doesn't feel like these don't. And I personally, I'm not saying that I personally feel that. I do try to have like a visceral reaction to when anything happens inside the school walls that affect the children of the nation that we live in. Because again, one thing I think a nation should be able to do is protect the little people that walk around these places. Like
forget about our future.
Our future, right?
That is our future. That is America's future.
But those are defense. I mean, outside this little boy, because he might not be defenseless. But I mean, most of these kids is like they not out here. They don't have a way to protect themselves against anybody coming into their school and massacring them. And I think where I always stand is like, yo, going back to access. I want to give tax credits to anybody who want to give a safe. If you want to get this safe, yo, we gonna send you some bread. And I know it sounds good. Send you some bread. And the thing that seems easy.
You could, man, the amount of money that's spent lobbying for
we know,
to go against safety and to go against protecting our children. If they would spend a quarter of that to partner with some of these manufacturers to say, hey, look, we're trying to create vouchers so that if someone gives us proof of purchase of a safe, and then, you know, they can even sell $200 off your next Glock, your next Smith & Wesson, because we know
you're going to hang it up in here.
Safe.
You're going to hang it up. The next thing you buy, you're going to hang it in this.
Put it somewhere safe. Away.
Just get it away. This is an interesting point you bring there, where it's like, all right, we know that a lot of the lobbying is like, yo, because one thing you can do is you can say, hey, they're trying to prevent you. Yeah. Because when you say that brings fear, and then people want to go buy more. When people are afraid, they're going to go buy more. And even past that, it seems to me like being adjacent to this community, similar to like tattoos and other things, when people get one, they want to get more.
I mean, yes and no.
Yes and no?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, there is an itch. There is an addiction. But no, because it's less permanence with a firearm. I have 2 tattoos. It was 18, 19, and then by 20, I said, man, I'm not doing no more.
Yeah, right.
I'm not doing no more.
Okay, right.
And they're pretty large, but it's still like, I'm not doing that no more.
Oh, right.
But with firearms, I get an itch and I scratch it, man. But what I have done is say, okay, every firearm I have has a different application.
Right.
And that's the way I want to forge my collection. I don't have duplicates. I don't see the reason in having duplicates. So people who have 5 different 4 or 5 inch barrel 9mm pistols, why? Why?
It's a good question. I don't know.
What's the application? The application is they have the same application. So for me, it becomes, okay, if I want to get another micro compact or something small, I'm going to trade in. I'm going to sell a gun back and then have that make the price of the new firearm a little cheaper. And so that's the way I go about it. But some people, to your point, I think it's the fear. It's the fear of losing their rights to bear arms, which causes people to run and buy bulk ammo and store it, to buy bulk magazines and load them and store them, to buy multiple AR-15s so that they can arm a small militia. What?
Well, you know they're gonna stop. They're gonna stop the government when the government come to take everything.
Yeah, they're gonna really do that. Man,
they're gonna stop the government, right?
The government wants something. They don't have to knock on your door.
Right?
It'd be a drone. It'd be a drone, okay? It'd be somebody just playing a little video game, and they're gonna it's no rational way of thinking to think you're hoarding and collecting firearms because you're afraid of the government coming for you. I don't think that's a rational fear.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a rational fear. People talk about a race war. I don't think that's a rational fear.
Yeah. As to be of a reason to like to bulk up. And especially when a lot of the folks who was doing it's like, y'all are already like the privileged ones. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, you guys are already on what do you think?
Because that's but see, this is where it gets for me to where are you putting your funds? Where are you investing your money?
Well, there's a good point too, where you got that much where
some of these weapons, $3,000 to $5,000. Firearms,
the wealth
and
gap,
gear, and all this stuff, and you mean to
the
tell
wealth
me?
Gap is financing this. People got so much bread that they can.
Come on, man.
White folks got so much bread they can just go buy a
$3,000 gun, and then put all the fixings on it, make it about $45. Come on, and that's where it's like you have to do better for yourself.
A little bit, right?
Where are you putting your money? Where are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your time? And you're not putting it into protecting yourself or those around you. You're putting it into a falsehood of protection, which is, I have this weapon, but who can get to it easily? My children. And then now, who are you protecting? You bought it to protect your family, but now you put your family in harm's way by sheer, buzzword, negligence. Negligence is the root to half of this stuff, because when you have instances or you have history of mental health issues, how can you just walk into a gun shop and walk out and you have everything you need to go right down the street and lose your mind?
Right. There's not many things in this society that, like, we think, like, another thing that is not as dangerous as guns, but still pretty dangerous, is like driving a car. Like, car can go and you can run people over with this. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in this 3,000, like 3,000, like the two-ton
killing machine.
2-ton killing machine, right? But there's
you got to go to class. You got to have hours. You got to carry a permit for X amount of years. You got to have supervisors in your car. You can't drive at night. Then you got to go take an actual test after you pay for driving school. And then you got to pass that driving test. If you fail it twice, then you got to go back, take more. Come on, man. That's to get in that car. To get a gun, you walk in and walk out?
Yeah. And I think even in states, right, because states make their driving laws, but even in states where there are looser driving laws, I feel like you still gotta like show up and go somewhere and get the license. Yeah. There's nowhere I know that you can just go get the car with no license.
You gotta get behind the wheel and show us that you know how to operate.
If I'm wrong, someone come correct me on this, but I don't think there's anywhere in this United States of America where you don't have to go do like you gotta go physically go get a license to go like get a car and
you
drive
have to
somewhere. Prove that you can drive.
You can drive the car
because there's
no state is just giving you a written test saying here you go. No,
because there's a lot of cars out here. There's a lot of cars out here.
A lot of firearms out here.
Exactly, right.
A lot of cars.
There's a lot of cars. And there's a lot of, I'm just saying, right? There's a lot of them out here. And we want to make sure that if we have a bunch of these cars out here, that everybody's kind of following similar rules. There's similar, like we know this. Green means go, red means stop.
We all agree.
Yeah,
that
yellow
green means
yellow.
go.
Everybody kind of picks and chooses.
That's a loose rule. I don't know.
All right.
It means speed up. It means slow down. And it means look left, right. I don't know.
All right.
Yellow means to everybody.
To everybody. But that green and that red.
Go and stop.
Go and stop. Because, again, there's a lot of these cars out here, and we want to make sure that with all these cars out here, because we know they can be a little dangerous at times, that, we're just following different procedures.
A little bit. That's it.
Yeah.
And I will never be able to understand it, to be honest. I mean, even an advocate, but I'm not an advocate for just everybody needs one. Everybody should be able to have one because also, like I started by saying, it's a privilege.
Right.
It's not a right. It's not a right. And it's definitely not a right to be able to walk around with a firearm under your clothes, hidden from the world.
So no one knows.
When you go to a different state, oh, man, you got a driver's license? Yeah, you can put it under your clothes. Huh? Wait. So we don't know who got them? And okay.
And, like, back to, like, the drugs and alcohol piece of it, like you were mentioning earlier, like off air, it's like, certain places you could be at a bar with it hidden.
With concealed firearm loaded, hot, under your clothes at the bar taking shots with your best friend.
Because what could go wrong?
Because what can go wrong? And that's why carry laws, they differ state to state.
Yeah.
Some say, okay, so if I'm carrying, I go into a foreign state, a neighboring state, and I enter that state without declaring that I'm entering your state with the firearm. That's illegal. But that's not the law for every state.
Right.
So if I do a road trip and I'm carrying, because it's a road trip, go through multiple states, you on interstate here, highways, motels, hotels, holidays, and you might need it. But the fact of going through all those states, laws change, and you can pretty much incriminate yourself without knowing. That's an issue in itself.
Which I wonder, though, that starts to go into like a federal standard, which I think that freaks everybody. Like, for me, I feel like that's common sense, but I feel like when I start saying, like, hey, is there like, what is it, common sense gun laws?
Common sense ain't common.
Yeah, I feel like that freaks everybody out. We're like, what do you mean the government's going to make a law across the land for these things? And it's like, yo, I feel like, again, because like cars, there's a lot of them out here.
The ATF tries.
Yeah.
The ATF tries.
They laws them things they like, but then for me it's like that's an agency, and can agencies be making like, because then that's what someone else is gonna come. Someone's gonna come to me and be like, well, you mean the agencies are gonna make these laws?
A law-making arm of the government.
Of the government, right?
You can't make a law. You can make a rule, and that's what they do. They make rules.
Yeah.
Like I said, they don't say no. They just make it a little tougher. That's what the ATF is doing. They make things a little tougher, which some people don't agree with.
Right.
Some people do. As recent as, the new laws with the pistol brace law, where basically overnight, similar to the bump stock, but the bump stock made a semi-automatic weapon automatic.
Which is
anybody who disagrees with the ATF saying, look, man, we got to get rid of bump stocks, that teeters into that lane of you're an extremist for me.
Because why should you be able to take something that's not something and turn it into that?
You have machined a weapon.
Yeah.
Now you need to let the government know I have machined a weapon, but then you get into the ghost guns and people saying, oh, I should be able to. The government doesn't need to know everything I have.
Because I'm technically building.
What are you afraid of?
Yeah.
Like, when people say the government doesn't need to know everything I have, what are you, the person who says that, afraid of?
Right.
What do you do for a living? It's always my next question. Because what are you afraid of? You afraid they're going to kick in your door? You think the ATF got you on a watch list? And if they do, why? Why do you think that? What are you doing?
And look, for me, I lean towards people in the privacy of their own homes. Like, I always lean towards that. And if people want to, but where it differs for me always kind of is that, yo, when you take something that can, take another person's life very quickly, too. It's not like.
With ease.
Because, we always say, again, you might talk to these other countries and not say that violence is happening, but someone might pull out a knife and he might get 2 folks, but then 14 other people gonna get this man about the way.
Yes. Shovel over the head.
One, yeah.
Somebody gonna grab a stick, man.
Yeah, exactly. But usually what happens in some of these if someone has a gun, or in this point you say an automatic weapon, it might be one person and we might have easily then lost 25 easily, quick. And it's just. So that's where the difference for me is not to say it's not going to stop violence. I don't think that's we're just saying yo, they might not kill as many people.
You'll never be able to stop deviant behavior.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's just, we're humans. We're too complex for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Deviant behavior is going to exist as long as human beings exist. But you can put some hurdles in the way.
Yeah.
You can put some hurdles in the way.
So they trip over a few things before.
And then you go, oh, he was about to shoot us.
Yes.
Jail that fool.
Right? Get him out of here. Get him out of here, right? Just there you go, hurdles.
Just a little hurdle.
Just a couple of hurdles. It's even then, some people gonna jump the hurdles. That's gonna happen. That's gonna still happen. But every now and then the hurdles might stop somebody.
Not might.
A lot of the times.
They will. And I say that because even having a stringent process discourages people.
Damn.
Just to be like, oh, that's what it requires? Man, I'm not even going to try.
Cool.
Because you had to think twice. You had to say, well, I do got that felony, I do this, I do that, I do this. And, oh, they do background checks? They going to call people? They need references? Oh, nah, man, I don't know who I'm going to tell them. They can call and say, can we give this man a gun? You put any of those kind of stopgaps in the way, you will make this country way safer. So we got negligence, so we talking safes. You get safes, you do background checks. And the thing that kills me is that majority of Americans want this.
Yeah, there we go. And that ain't right. That's the biggest one.
Of Americans want
Because
gun owners or not, because there's a vast majority of gun owners and firearm owners who are like me, responsible.
Yeah.
They take care of their weapons. They honestly, there's some people who buy them, load them, shoot them, don't know how to store them, don't know if they're supposed to clean them. It's like, you don't have a cleaning kit?
Right.
Wait, I need to clean this? Oh, boy. Do you change the oil in your car? I got to change the oil in my car? Huh? So it's just little things, man. Little things.
Well, and here's where the lane you're going down there is like being almost like an educated gun owner about what you've now purchased.
Yes.
Because what you've purchased is, again, in a sense, a killing machine. Like that. I mean, it could be for like, at the end of the day, it could easily be that. Like, if you pointed at somebody, it could kill them.
Hey, let's just, it is what it is.
Right.
It is what it is.
So my
weapon
thing,
of destruction.
Weapon of destruction, right? I've always thought, and this again, people think I'm crazy around this, is that, if this country is gonna be hell bent on we gonna have guns everywhere, start showing people everybody how to use these things from early on. And
it
I know
used to be a part of high school curriculum.
Was
like
that ROTC and all them things? Was
no,
not
just
even
like
that?
driver's ed.
Oh,
it would have been a subject in physical education. Firearms.
And I get throughout various times in the history, especially after slavery, white folks would be like, "What you mean we gonna be out here training black people how to use guns in school?" Which we know that's a part of this as well. And like, because again, when anybody ever comes to me and is like, "Yo, like you're pro gun," this time I'm like, hold on, did you not? Yeah, I'm like, do you not know how this whole thing kind of went down? And like we had to folks in this country, like black folks in this country, ran across the line to pick up guns to save this country, right? And then you think we just gonna be chilling around here without any way to protect ourselves? Like, again, no one. There's a set of folks in this country who made the rules. Some of us trying to follow them. Trying to follow them. Again, some folks are just trying to rip the rules to shreds or not have any rules at all, which
we know what that leads to.
We know what that leads to. So Anarchy, exactly. That was a heavy ass segment. Probably one of the heaviest segments we did sometime on this. It was heavy, but hopefully it was educational, and hopefully people again, going back to this story, a 6-year-old, again, just being very specific and very pointed about what I'm saying. A 6-year-old going in and shooting their teacher is it's not kind of insane. It is insane, completely. And we can't have a country obviously that just allows that to happen. But I think this is a specific incident, but it's not isolated. This happens.
That's what I was going to say. As you said, we can't get used to. We can't normalize this.
Yeah, we can't.
If something happens on Monday, we're over it by Tuesday night.
Yeah. So
can't normalize.
Really a tough situation, but I'm thankful again to have you on again to just put some background around just ownership of guns and what that can look like. And I feel like that's a message that if we could take out to the masses, because we know a lot of folks kind of they agree with no one wants their country to be the place where kids get shot at school. Yeah. No, I don't think anybody wakes up every morning and is that's what I want to stand on. So I mean, hopefully we get there. But Brian, I feel like it's time to take a break. Yeah, take a break. So again, you're tuned into a show, the only show right now on Beltway Radio and Beyond. We'll be back. Sweeps.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media.
We go live to Los Angeles with Pause One.
You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. This is fake news like the president says. How they introduce meth and let it spread on the res. No prior reservation, getting head from a les. And these feds, cold as ice out, headed for feds. Justice ain't blind, it's bias. Classify us as a menace. Hit with a sentence and gentrify us. Colonize the neighborhood, but we ain't staying quiet though. Voices a reminder of the 92 riot. So come and try us with looting and putting food in homes. Stealing new computers, revenge for the student loans. Feel threatened yet? Bitches, it's a scary world. Happen to rap like a rated caps on my Jerry curl. So much attitude, iced tea, attitude, attaboy. Ever since I touched the mic, I had him glued. You hear the booze, haters throwing sodium, unloading all the dirt. They'll try to kill me at the podium. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't wanna hear the facts. Hispanics and blacks pouring white, stripped of their rights. Locked up in Supermax. You're like the dudes in rap posing with a group of rats using trap music. Faces full of stupid tats, do relax. The camera's off, you could lose an act. It doesn't match, not the color or the gang signs. Falling out your high heels, claiming that you bang nines. I ain't here to change minds, just offend you. These thugs are transgender men, blending with the strange times. Seen a lot of scams, cops with the body cams roll by slow, profiling the whole block. No wonder when they throw on their lights, we don't stop. Look, I don't give a fuck about the bullshit you read on it. They shoot us in the back, there's no front page spread on it. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. You don't want what I say to be true. If I was you, I'd probably be afraid of me too. I'm bad news. Right.
Welcome back to a show on Beltway Radio and beyond. This your boy Cortez.
Big Ye.
Big Ye is here with me. We created a different show from the show you usually hear at 9:30 on Thursday night, which is ChipChat, which I participate in. And now we have a different show on, but we have similar graphics that fly around because, again, there's no preparation on my end here that happens. And why would we change the graphics when Chip will be back next week? So will I think. Maybe. We'll see.
Hopefully.
Or maybe it'll be a new show. Maybe me and you have a show on this network.
Oh, boy.
No, who knows? That's I started on this network as a guest. So
yeah.
From there. The next story that I've kind of found a little hilarious, and like us both being fathers that I thought we could throw in here, is something that happened. It was a prank. So a Belgian man pulled off a prank of a lifetime. Some are saying when he some are saying
he then arrived
when he faked his own death. And he showed up to his funeral by stepping off a helicopter instead of being carried out of a hearse. This is TikToker. This is hilarious. David, I would say Bertrand, along with his wife and children, they decided to orchestrate. I guess this is a pseudocide. Is it a pseudocide? I guess is they're saying to prank loved ones and see who actually cared about the 45-year-old. To spread the news of Bertrand's death, one of his children took to social media and wrote a tribute to her father. So this is a family affair.
Terrible.
He then arrived at the ceremony in a helicopter.
About you, and quote, the daughter wrote, according to the Times of UK, quote, why is life so unfair? These aren't even do people really say this when the people's dead? Why you were going to be a grandfather, damn, and you still had your whole life ahead of you. I love you. We love you. We'll never forget you, end quote. The fake funeral, which was held near the city of, I guess, Liege, hopefully I pronounced that right, last weekend was attended by dozens of friends, family members dressed in black, waiting for a ceremony to begin until they were met with a landing helicopter. Okay, I guess a couple questions
Man, sit your ass down.
Superbly placed. Superbly placed. Okay?
I'll let you have the floor on this first. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so for me, it as you said, it's a family affair. Your children think this funny? Your children think this funny. What kind of twisted family is this to begin with? To where your children are writing things like this online.
Not in well, I mean, you couldn't put it in your journal because no one reads it.
It sounds like a prayer. Why? Why? You putting that on the internet? Like, it's too much. The man is clearly disturbed. And I say that based on the influence of social media. He has been mutated by social media in the attempt to get followers. Like, what world have we entered where, oh, wait, hold on, what's the word? Clout?
Clout, yeah.
Clout.
At first, I thought
clout is fake.
Right. Well, no, is it? I mean, but like, if clout is a form of currency, right, and so is like is paper money. Like, isn't it what we put value on, right?
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm getting at. Exactly.
And so we put value on this. Like, we described my man David Bethren as I don't know. We described him as a TikToker.
A TikToker. Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly.
I mean, but again,
the media described him that.
That's fair. Yes,
you gotta remember that because they felt like there's no way in the world that because pretty much you saw this on TikTok, and that's the thing. It's just like this. He was just a normal dude who did a stupid prank on his own family and friends
with his family,
with his immediate family, and to the point where it's like it's just displayed on a social media site. So again, to make everything seem, how do we describe this dude?
That's fair.
Well, they said TikToker, and they said the images that we're constantly seeing were recorded by a fellow TikToker.
Right.
So he has TikTokers there.
It's a syndicate.
Because all the TikTokers are in a conglomeration. Okay? So they coming to their man's...
right now. This is the oldest show ever right now.
They coming to their man's funeral. Because they fellow TikTokers.
Right.
And so they recording, and he's a TikToker, and people there, and you trying to say, oh, it's because people don't reach out to me. You don't know if tomorrow is promised. Blah, blah,
That is,
blah.
See, that's what upsetted me.
That's
that whole thing is like,
that's the bullshit.
I mean, what do you want? He didn't show up until the helicopter gig, so you don't know what was said unless you're again based off of your wife and kids were listening. Right. But
someone was obviously TikToking it. He was getting a live stream.
Yeah, somebody.
So probably. But my thing is like, look, are you like you said looking for clout or trying to be a Bond villain? Because it makes no damn sense. Because mind you, he did everything elaborate like a Bond villain. I mean, he's like faked his own death, comes back from the death through using a helicopter. I mean, come on.
And then you had your kids setting out booby traps and breadcrumbs. Like what?
I mean, shoot.
That is a Bond villain.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're ticking off a lot of the check boxes on that one.
I mean, you have the villainous girlfriend and all that shit who probably dead in a matter of minutes, later on.
Narcissistic,
you wouldn't even give,
self-indulgent. He a Bond villain.
Here's my thing.
And a foreign country.
I was about to say, you hear before me. I said, and he's foreign. You know he got an accent. You know he got an accent.
All right. So
you believed me.
Yo,
come on, man.
Here's my thing as well too. Like, let's just say you trying to prove a point or make a lesson learned to your kids. Is death what we really playing around with? Is this the one we playing with? Like,
this for me means he doesn't really respect life.
Yeah, to play with it, right? Like that's like if you call out from work and you say that like someone died in your family. You tripping.
You don't respect life. You tripping. You don't respect life. Or death. Right. You don't respect the completion of life. Because when you die, you completed life.
Yeah, exactly.
You completed life.
Definitely. Full on agree with that.
So he don't respect life. He don't respect the dead.
Now, wild ass story. I mean, like, Clout, like
clout, yeah.
Yo, like he's got 60,000 clout coins. You know, he's surpassed everybody. He hit the jackpot.
TikTokers.
But also too, I'm also on a show every Thursday at 9:30 that, you know, we like our likes around here too, don't we? And when I say we, that's the proverbial we. I don't know. That's not that person isn't here this evening, but you know, shout out to Chip.
Y'all don't fake your death every Thursday.
We don't.
For likes.
We don't.
Okay.
We do not do that. That is fair.
Yeah.
We do not do that. All right. Give me what's 3 minutes? Not to take too much time on this, because obviously the finals happen. This isn't a full-on sports show here, but how you feel about the finals? How you feel about the finals?
Finals were what stage, man? What round? The last series?
Yeah, just like the NBA, like not the playoffs, because the playoffs is in general wild.
Talking about that loaf of bread, the immovable, highly skilled loaf of bread.
Yeah, he's good.
That jumped 2 inches.
Yeah.
And you be like, that ain't going in. How did that go in? Swish. Bottom of the net. Water polo tosses.
Hey.
You see them passes? They water polo passes. Ball come here, he just like that.
And it's gone. It's gone.
It's like, oh, shit.
I know folks didn't really enjoy this finals.
I didn't enjoy it.
I
didn't even watch Game 5.
See, that's what's wrong.
No.
That's what's wrong.
I started watching Game 5. I don't like sloppy basketball. And that's why I don't watch NCAA. I don't like to see the degradation of my game.
That last game was not good.
Was trash.
That was not good.
I was watching it like, I can't watch this bad basketball.
This is not. It was a lot of missed shots.
Jokic gonna win. He gonna get MVP, and I'm turning this off.
Yeah, I mean, I think we knew, like, and barring like Jimmy Butler doing something insane again.
That boy's ankle was mush.
Yeah. So exactly, and what we're watching that happens in Denver, Jokic is just it's insane, and I'm just one of these times how I felt about LeBron, how I felt about Steph, how I'm gonna feel about Jokic is like, yo, I'm just gonna enjoy this now. Like, actually, I mean, because he's gonna be on some more marquee games next year. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't out here catching these damn Denver games like that. It's on the West Coast. No. Hard to catch a lot of those games, but he's been good for some time. It's not like
this is not a surprise.
It's
to
not
anyone.
a surprise.
If you're
it shouldn't
NBA
be a surprise.
Fan,
yeah,
you know Jokic is the truth.
Right.
You know
he is.
You know he's the truth. Like, I'm not saying he's not the truth. He's still a loaf of bread.
Yeah, he's a loaf. Yeah, but again,
but let's fully be honest here.
Okay.
So, as you said, it was not watchable because of the simple fact is, like, one, it's on ESPN because their coverage is shit.
ABC is no good.
Yeah, no, not ABC, ESPN. ESPN on ABC.
Okay. Yeah, fair. Mickey Mouse owns it all.
Yes.
Mickey owns it all.
He owns it all.
So, their viewpoint is, we don't have LeBron, so we can't overhype him anymore.
Right.
We don't have Steph Curry, can't overhype him anymore. Right. Milwaukee's gone. Philadelphia had his chance, but fucked up. Boston's gone, and that could have been some great drama there with the markets. Yeah, and all that stuff. So for them, it's like, okay, we're left with these two. That's how they treated it.
An eight seed.
And the thing is that has been that I've said this to you before, is like, when it comes to a network that's supposed to broadcast the entire league that they're presenting, but they only want to present premier teams. Yep. And or in this case, legacy teams.
Because here's my question as well.
And that is the point, though, legacy.
Legacy teams, yeah, because like similar to the same movies coming out over and over again. That's what people want to gravitate. Because my thing is, where's like the trip that maybe they had these and I just don't watch that deep into, like, I just watch the games. But was there, like, you know, when they do like the trip back to Serbia, selling the story, like where he came from, the farmhouse or whatever? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just like, usually they do these like long form type things to bring people into this.
Jokic not doing it.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, as we saw at the end.
He was asked. So what you gonna do? Go home.
I felt that.
Are you going to the parade?
So,
when is the parade? Thursday. Oh. What? You mean to tell me you don't even want to go to the parade?
He won the
because he did his job. He's ready to go home. Yeah, it's like, I won championship. Me go home. That's it. But again, the thing is, the other thing is, like, when the NBA was on NBC, they made it personal.
They did do that.
They built rivalries. You saw. I mean, even when it was like Indiana got into the finals.
Yeah.
They made them interesting because not the simple fact that Reggie Miller was there, but it's somehow they just made it interesting for us to watch it. When the Nets got into those 2 finals, same thing. We figured it's like, oh, they can't be good that first time. Second time, it's like, okay, they may have a chance. Yeah. Again, how they presented them made them interesting. But in this case scenario, ESPN was looking for, LeBron's coming back. Steph Curry might have it. Nope. That's how they treat it. And it's like once they don't have those premier teams that they want to feature, they're done. And that's how they presented it. And I feel like, unfortunately, from this point on, I don't know how long that damn contract is, but it sucks.
Someone has to be able, but then even I don't want to go too deep.
Wait for the TV schedule for next year.
Yeah, he's going to be he's going to be everywhere.
Mind you, yes, they'll hype up. But here's how the hype up will be. Denver will be on a Christmas game, but it will probably be the late night, very late night. It will not be in the prime time frame between, let's say, 3:30 or. No,
I think that if you're smart, you put them against the Knicks. You put him in Madison Square Garden at 12 o'clock on Christmas. You put him at 12 o'clock on Christmas and sell that.
But no, that's the sad part because the Knicks ain't watchable.
Knicks are okay this year.
The Knicks are the Knicks.
They are. But that's what I'm saying. Let him go in there. Let him put up 45, 20, and 10
on
at the
that
Garden.
Knicks team.
On the Garden, at the Garden. Yeah. That might be the one. Like if I was gonna go ahead.
To be honest, not the Knicks.
You want him against
Antetokounmpo or Boston?
Yes.
Yeah. You need to see him against some long, lanky, big boys.
Yes. Yeah, that's not a bad one.
I want Bucks.
Bucks
I want to see
one.
what Antetokounmpo gonna do with him.
3:30 game. The 3:30 game on that one, I wouldn't be mad at that either.
You had your little snacks, you got your food. Now it's time to watch these big boys bang.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't find him. I see him as one of the great basketball players I've ever watched.
No doubt.
So I just want to enjoy this. I feel like a lot of times, like the game is built on a lot of like the storylines, as we just were talking about. But like now this has kind of moved online. He's not really an online player, like marketable, like social media type player. It doesn't feel like, I don't see him, like everybody seems to be in like, everybody's all agreeing on what his performances are online, where it's usually more banter between two opposing sides. Everybody's like, we don't like this.
But then it's also like, well, then there is two sides. Because we don't like this, but then it's like, man, that boy cold.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I don't even know. I like it. I like if anybody cold.
I just like that he cold.
I like that he cold.
Like it might be an effortless game, and there's like a lack of passion going on there, but I respect it. Like, you got to respect that man's game.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Period.
I respect it. I enjoy it. Yo, shout outs to them for winning the NBA Finals.
But now ESPN and ABC gonna respect it.
Yeah, that is the truth.
They gonna respect it.
Yeah.
Wait for that TV schedule and see how many games ESPN is gonna televise Denver, and how many games are gonna feature either Lakers or the Warriors. Trust and believe there'll be more than you will expect.
In the NBA Finals, you should be featuring the NBA for the champions. Should be going around
even
playing
the
people
Kings.
in prime time.
The Kings will be
sleeper
team.
Kings will be on. I think the Kings will be on.
The West Coast team.
Because you should be bringing people in to see. It's hard. Like it's hard for us, and I know East Coast bias, but it's hard for us to stay awake at this old age. This big age.
At this big age.
At this big age. It's hard to stay awake sometimes. You know, you just end up watching, what is it, Charmed or whatever the hell it is.
Bruh.
Whatever that is, and you wake up the next morning.
I wake up to Shaq.
Oh, it's a replay in the game.
I wake up to them.
You wake up. Oh, they on the pregame.
Okay, the post game. Hopefully some interviews come up.
And you can catch where it's at.
Yeah, can catch those silly interviews.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end the show out with, just something that came up in conversation between me and Chloe earlier today. And I was just talking about, back in the day, when it came to like cell phones in like the early 2000s, there was like so many different, like a lot of different phones. Everybody had like the phone.
Probably got a phone from back then.
He probably do, right? Exactly. there were so many different options, and it felt like just a different time, like more of like a Wild Wild West. I think now most of the time it's gonna be like folks gonna have iPhone, folks gonna have Android, but at a different time, it felt like there was a lot more different brands out here.
Yeah.
Like folks had different things that were like in like multiple people enjoyed, but like you might be like, nah, I rock with this specific brand. Obviously, the carriers are gonna be the carriers; they were still running shit. But I felt like that's changed now.
Yeah. Well, it's changed due to consolidation.
Yes. Yeah.
And in COVID, the great expediter
got everything moving quicker.
Boy, did it.
So yeah, we don't have as many choices. But for me, I felt like I had a top 5.
Oh boy.
For me in the 2000s.
Oh boy.
Of like phones that like I thought they like in the early 2000s they was the shit. That's why.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to guess. Let me just see what's on the list. So I know, because I remember vividly you. So,
okay,
I remember you and one Jesse. And y'all phones, and y'all was them phone men.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. So, Sidekick is on this list. Where is it on this list?
That's a question.
Okay. The Bloop Bloop 930's on this list.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then do you remember the times of silent? Like, because you could turn off a cell phone, but you can't turn off that walkie. So that
didn't it vibrate? Oh no, it had the little that's what it was. Semi-chirp.
Semi-chirp.
For folks, all right, just to bring folks into this, like what we're talking about right now.
We old.
Because some people might look and listen and be like, what do they mean phones is chirping? There was on Nextel, which was a provider at one time, when we had more cell phone providers than we do now. Because I think we're down to 3. Oh, well, no, we got those other ones now that are but we're down to 3, but then they got those other ones that use the cell towers
they paying those 3.
Those 3, right? But Nextel had a feature on the phones where it was walkie-talkie.
And the reason that was so big is because this is coming from a time where you had to pay per minute to talk. Yeah. You had to pay per text. So a walkie-talkie feature was like, oh, I could talk to my people all day without my mom getting mad that I'm running the bill up.
Yes.
So that changed the game.
And for my first, what I remember about Nextel specifically was, for me, when I first saw that phone, it was that yellow and black one, the construction phone with no cup, with nothing on the front. Yeah, exactly. Ryan's laughing because it just hit you in your head right there.
It was
had no screen, no LCD on the front.
It was made by Cat. I'm trying to tell you, that thing was ready, baby. It was ready. That was a fusion, okay? Nextel meet Cat. That phone was indestructible.
It might as well be
was serious.
A Caterpillar product. Yes, you're right, because it was yellow and black. It was built. It might as well have been an OtterBox phone.
And it had texture. It was like rubberized, so it wouldn't fall out your hand. Bro, they was thinking.
It was crazy.
Nextel was ahead of the game.
And Nextel was one of those. I never personally was on the BlackBerry train. I had a BlackBerry at one time.
I had a Trio.
Oh, that was the Palm.
Windows. Yeah, the Palm Trio, Windows based. I had a Trio.
And it had the little small antenna at the top.
This little teeny antenna and a little
stylus.
There you
go.
It
had the stylus as well. That was another one as well too.
I enjoyed that phone.
Yeah, exactly. Because these phones, another one that I remember having. For me, it was Sony Ericsson. And Sony Ericsson for me was really good because the one I had at the time, and I have one on my list. I didn't have this one because I didn't have that much money. But I was a kid. I was a fucking kid at this time. I
remember this
15,
when my older brother
14.
had this phone.
So, but like, I had a Sony Ericsson. I think it was on AT&T before they went to Singular to back to AT&T, because that happened as well too over these times in the 2000s. But I had this Ericsson, and the reason why I loved it is because, remember the polyphonic ringtones?
Wow.
Yep. Them things, and it basically was like, I can't even describe it to you. Like, it was a sound that just was very primitive. It was your favorite song, but like, I don't even know, like a video, like it was on NES. It was like your favorite song you had, but it was on an NES game.
Yes.
My Ericsson, you could record, and then you could turn it into a ringtone.
Yep.
And I feel like the cell phone folks realized, wait, we could sell y'all ringtones, and that feature disappeared from every phone.
Yep.
Like every phone back then was like, no. You're gonna buy it.
You get 99 cents.
99, and then folks got remember that was a whole music market. Like folks got rich off ringtones.
Yes.
99 cents for their ringtones. Maybe a $1.99 ringtone, depending on.
The popularity. If it was top 40, you definitely paying more than 99.
You definitely paying more than 99 cents. Another thing that like we were talking about in this conversation as well too was like, remember when folks would put the music on their voicemail?
Yeah. Put that thing up to the radio, and you be waiting for the song. You be waiting by the radio for your song, and then scramble, get the phone. You reach the voicemail.
Oh my God, it's a different time.
Don't take too much time and waste my time or your time. Just leave a quick note for me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
That was yours?
No, but something like it. Something like it. I'm trying to tell you something like it.
Oh my God.
You want to be as cool as possible.
Cool as possible.
Cool as possible.
I got chastised. I put at the time, the Attitude Era was king for WWE.
Oh God, yes.
So I used the Rocks. Beginning of the Rocks. His very first one, and a person that I was interning with left a message on my phone. So I end up seeing, she said something, left the message. So when I end up seeing her, she ends up telling me, it's like, don't ever do that again because it's not professional. And it's like, okay. And I was, 20-something, so, it didn't mean anything at the time.
But it was the thing to do. The technology was new. It was like, what are we doing with this? What can we do with this? How much fun can we have? Now, you leave a voicemail,
people
they're
looking
showing
at you
your
crazy.
age. They're
exactly. What you doing?
Why didn't you text me?
Because think about this though. Voicemail, remember voicemail technology just being on your home phone. That was insane.
Bro,
like
an answering machine.
Machine.
But remember, the days of running home to delete the message
from your God
that they would send from school.
Oh God.
Oh man, I remember those days.
I always got caught because obviously I went to school out of the MCPS, but I lived in DC, so I couldn't get. My grandmother was the one who lived. The statute of limitations is over on this shit, obviously, but they can't get me now.
Can't get me now.
But yeah, like I could never get to those messages, so they were always there. And my grandmother would then call my mom. So it was there was never a time in my life because it would be really weird to like be going to like Montgomery County schools, but had like a 202 number in the directory when it came out. That would be a little weird. But to your point there, the answering machine was that.
Different beast.
So I got a list here, y'all. I got a list of phones. Tez's top 5 phones of the 2000s. Do we have? Are they gonna go up on the screen or
starting at 5?
Oh, you didn't get. Oh, they was in the document.
Starting at 5.
It's starting at 5 on here, so folks can go look up, and I'll describe these phones for you as well. Starting at 5. It's going to be the Nextel i860.
Okay.
All right, so the i860, if you go and search this phone, it'll pop up. It was the Nextel, it was a black and blue Nextel. Yep. Color LCD, really crisp camera.
I was going to say, this was the phone
that changed it.
That changed the camera game.
Yes.
This was the phone that could take... I mean, sure, if we compared, the pictures were trash.
Yes, oh my God. I'll tell you this. Looking up, I'm glad we don't even put the pictures up because these pictures are so old. They're from a different time on the internet that I don't ever find, like, they're all pixelated.
It's crazy.
Every one. I can't find one that's clear.
Blurry. It's like this is a different era. But the phone also had a flash.
Oh my God.
That's what changed.
And it could be a flashlight. You could leave it on.
That's
you
what
could just
changed.
turn. That is a great point.
First that had like the flash. It's like, oh yeah, we could take some really good pictures now.
Yes.
Now we could take good pictures.
That's a good point about that phone. The flash was insane. And like if you left that flash on accidentally, your phone's dead.
Oh, dead.
It's over
Super
with.
Dead.
Yeah, go find it.
That's any phone of the era.
Any phone. Yeah.
If you used
1 hour.
If you used it, it was dead.
You had 45 minutes. Yeah. You had most phones. Yeah, I feel like you had 45 minutes.
They started as emergency things.
Exactly. And now, before the computers. Yeah. All right, y'all gonna laugh at for me this one. This one here is in the Sony Ericsson family here. Go look this one up as well, too. This is a P800. Now, I picked this P800. Where did I first see this? And y'all gonna laugh at me. I saw this. Bow Wow had this during the video.
Oh, God.
I swear, yo.
Because I was about to say.
Yo, it was an insane phone. Because it had the keyboard, but it could flip over, and it was just a stylus and a screen on the front of it. So you just had this. The keyboard flipped over, and then it was on the like you could just tap on the screen itself, and then like on the back another camera with flash. Another phone, like, but this one again, I can't even lie. Saw this one in the Bow Wow video. I really wanted it. The phone was like $600 when it came out, and this is like back then.
I was about to say with inflation. Boy.
Exactly.
That'd be $3,000 phone today.
Exactly. That phone,
easily.
The phone was insane. The phone was insane. So yeah, that's going ahead at number 4 spot. All right, number 3, we're going back to Nextel, and I think you mentioned this here. It's the i930.
The 930, baby.
That 930. It basically took what was really hot in the i860 and just it's steroids. Just everything about it. I think it had a proper headphone jack on there. Another flash on there that was insane.
Insane flash.
Loud too. That thing was loud.
Was it? Did the antenna?
That's the actual. It was just a different time for y'all. We're getting really. This is just really different time. All right, number 2. This was my phone, and I will always reign supreme. And if you combined it with a Nextel and just had that $30 data plan, it was love. And we talking about that Sidekick.
That Sidekick.
Oh my! First of all, it took another old thing which we can get to one day. Is like old social networks on there because it wasn't even social media, just the social networks like AIM. We could take, but this was the AIM machine.
Yeah.
This thing, and it made a sound when it swiveled up.
Yeah.
When you
kicked it up.
And then, like,
Sidekick.
It would sit there just as, and like again, you looked a little crazy with it at your face. But now that we look at what the phones we have at our face, not really crazy.
Not crazy at all.
Then because it didn't flip and it swiveled, it's like, yo, you have a swivel phone and it just sits on, it doesn't flip. This Sidekick. The operating system, I'm going on my tech nerd shit right here. The operating system on this here was superb. It was so good. It was the best. Your MySpace looked amazing on this when you look. Comparatively to anything else, you couldn't even get on MySpace on everything else.
Black Planet.
All those things.
You aging yourself, man.
I am. That's fine. I'm talking about flip phones.
This is true.
This is a segment about flip phones in the 2000s.
And we're talking about the introduction of flashes on cameras. Woo!
Yo, you old as shit boat has sailed and I am on it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's number 2. All right. Number 1.
Come on now. We know what that is.
For me, obviously,
we know what that
is the introduction of iPhone.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
June 29th, 2007.
It was a bright summer day.
Yeah. Again, we've known each other a long time.
It was a bright summer day.
You remember when I came down and we was in the studio and I was like, hey, yo.
Yeah.
I just seen something crazy.
Yep.
And like, come on, sit down and let's watch this keynote.
Yes.
And y'all was looking at me like, what you mean we about to go sit down and watch a presentation? Keynote? You mean PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Yo.
Like, what are you talking about? A keynote? About a product?
About a product, yeah.
And that's what changed the game. Though.
Macworld 2007, that changed. That was insane. Steve came out there. He introduced that iPhone. He sold it so well, talking about we got a revolutionary phone, revolutionary internet browsing device, and a widescreen iPod, and
made it impossible for you not to have it.
Yeah. I won't even go into obviously getting this phone and enjoying this phone, having it early and just again spending way too much money on this phone. But just again, I think this is where it ends though. And obviously the phones that come after this with Androids and the phone kind of the switching out of because even here you would have iPhone, BlackBerry. Yeah. There were other phones still at this time. And there are still other phones, but it doesn't feel like it ended almost here.
America.
In America, yes. Let me be I'm being very myopic with that.
Yes, because globally,
doing a lot crazier things than any of these phones here are doing.
They're not running for no
but let me add on something else.
Okay.
So thanks to the iPhone, Steve and his crew, pretty much his crew, messed up the whole essence of dealing with editing, because I'm a professional editor. So their main focus completely went to iPhones and left out when we had with their editing software, video editing software. And
a lot of people say this.
Yes,
we went consumer. I say
you
we
went
like
fully
it's my sports
consumer.
team.
I'm
still invested. But we went full consumer. Yeah.
So thanks to sadly with that being in mind, they allow themselves to sort of slowly go fully on consumer mode.
Yep.
Forget about the professionals, and a lot of professionals to this day still are upset that, hey, you guys had a great product, but then you mess it up to the point where you try to make everything user friendly, which is fine, but at the same time, you just your main focus was the consumer and forget about the full on professionals. So, and now you don't hear anybody talk about their editing software, video editing software or anything like. All you see now is iPhone stuff. And look where the iPhone is now. People are more complaining about now because of the fact that you keep buying accessories to add on just to the point of just having a phone to call somebody. You keep featuring about, we got a brand new lens that can shoot like movie making shit. You can edit it in the phone now. You can do this, and this.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's not a Swiss knife. Yeah. It's freaking supposed to be a phone. It's supposed to call my mama when I'm in problems, okay?
Yeah.
But no. Thank you, iPhone, for fucking everything up.
All right. I mean, look.
Thank you.
Look, there's not much argument that's going to happen here. Like, look.
Got your green versus the blue team.
It's kind of crazy. That's insane. It's insane.
Why they had to do that?
That was a wild move.
I
think there should be standard text messages across or SMS across everything.
Come on now.
Because it's a new BBM. That's what it is. It's kind of crazy. All right. Well, you guys did a great job of making me feel really bad about being an iPhone user. Psych. I do not feel bad about that. I enjoy my phone.
We have 2 Mac products on the table.
Yeah.
We have 2 Mac products in our pockets.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they're right here.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? You hear that music you've never heard before, which means that this shit is over. Thank you to Big Ye, man. Thank you, for coming in today, yo.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you both.
And
I appreciate you, Chip. Wherever you are, I appreciate you.
Right,
for sharing your platform.
All right, look, man. I thank you for forcing me to work today. So yeah, with that, it's been an awesome time. Again, now I'm gonna be like asked to do this when I'm not. Like, I know that's gonna happen. Or maybe not. No, it's probably gonna happen. Thank you to our radio partners, WHUR 96.3, Magic 102.3. You, if you listen to Petey Green, and everything black and beautiful in between. Thanks to NOTN for keeping us on another week. Nextel Sidekick Danger. iPhone. Thanks to our digital media meatball, Isaac Elam. Thanks to our home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Beltway Radio for making us sound as smooth as Congress decreeing a national holiday instead of giving black folks reparations. Happy Juneteenth. Where can they find you on social media if you on that? Or you would look at me kind of crazy like not to go find me?
You can't find me.
That is real. We cannot find you.
You can't find me. I like to stay off of the interwebs, so if you ever find me, it'll be right here.
All right, there you go. So you'll find him here on A Show, on Beltway Radio and beyond. You can find me, in that hellscape that is Twitter now. Yo, my For You is insane. It is 3 levels below hell on what they showed me on there. I'm like, this ain't for me. This ain't for me.
See, that's a personal problem.
Yeah. It ain't for me.
Ain't my problem.
You can find me on ain't my problem. You can find me on Instagram at KetchumCordy. And that's the show. I'm Tez. That's Ye. You tuned into A Show once again on Beltway Radio and beyond. Sweeps.
Good night.